Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with a Fortuna Metis deck profile. Yeah, so I've been playing with this deck for quite a bit. It's like one of the decks I use most frequently now because it's so much fun to play, and it's not one of those like really OP decks, but it's really it's a really fun deck to play. Yeah, it's just really fun, and yeah. Anyway, let's just start off with the starting Vanguard. For the starting Vanguard, I run the I forgot her name, but you know her effect is when this card boosts Vanguard and boosts the unit and hits when you attack the Vanguard, you may pay the cost and then you may soul charge 3. So basically, I use her as you know, she's pretty good because behind the Vanguard, when you're at grade 3, the lowest you'll hit is 16, which is, you know, enough for magic number for 11k Vanguards. Of course, if you're up against cross-ride decks, then it's not enough, but you can replace her, whatever, it doesn't matter. She's used early game to, you know, get some extra soul in if you need. Yeah, you know, Counterblast 2 is kind of expensive, so if you ride, like, the grade 2 that charges, then you're set. But yeah, as for now, you know, I run 1, of course, because she's a Sunny Vanguard. Next I run 3 Metis. She's the Break Ride of Clan. Well, the second Break Ride of the Clan. And her skill is, when a Genesis unit rides on top of this unit, you may Counterblast 1 to draw a card, and then Soul Charge 3. So yeah. And then her second skill is when this card attacks, you can Soul Charge 1 and this card gets plus 1000 power. So she's a 12k attacker, which is not as great as a 13k attacker, but it's fine. Most of the Soul Charging clans do have a Soul Charge ability instead of getting an extra 1k. So yeah. In my recent decks, I kind of like running Break Rides at 3 because yeah, I don't know. I just like running them at 3 now. There's still some decks that I'd rather run 4 of, but Metis is the case where I will run 3. Simply because when she attacks, you get a Soul Charge, and when you don't have a ride target, it's kind of you're gonna, you know, you have a higher chance of decking out. So, yep. Next, I run 3 Fortuna. Yes, she's like the trump card of the deck. Her skill is, then break 4, Soul Blast 3. When this card attacks and when you drive check and you don't drive check when you drive check a grade 1 or above Genesis unit, you may pay the cost, which is Soul Blasting 3, and then you may put that card into the drop zone, and then you can check again. Basically, you can sort of negate your first check or second check, and check again, so that you may get a trigger. You can stack this effect, so if you check twice and you still don't get a trigger, you can Soul Blast 3 again. Yeah, I mean Soul Blast, I guess it's Soul Charge, my bad. Soul Blast 3, and then you can check again. So it's pretty good. When you're putting, you know, 2 pass, yeah, says 2 to pass, you're usually going to pass, unless you're really bad at this game, then yeah, it happened to me like once or twice where I didn't check 1 drive check. I didn't check 1 trigger in like 6 drive checks, and I was pretty sad, but you know, yeah, it doesn't usually happen. So yeah, usually when your opponent plays against this card, they either perfect guard or do a no pass, you know, which is usually 20k guard against a 16k column. So yeah. Next, I run 2 Iwagana Hime. I like her in this deck. I have used her effect quite a few times because usually when you don't need to, you know, troll your opponent with extra drive checks, you can annihilate their hand by retiring their rear guards. Her effect is Soul Blast 6 and you can retire your opponent's front row and Soul Blast 3, and then you can get 5k. Oh, Fortuna also has a skill to Soul Blast 3 and get 5k, so yeah, good stuff. So yeah, running 2 is fine for me. There are people that run like a 1 and then like 4 Fortuna, and that works fine for them, but I running 2 because even if you do draw into her, she's still an 11k attacker, which it's quite useful against cross rides because of all the 7k boosters I run in this deck. And with the, Vowing Saber Dragon, cross rides are going to be played again. Same with like Rier and Amon. We don't know their effects yet, I don't think. But yeah. So next for the grade 2, I run 4 of the Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 3 Soul Charge 3 when you hit. Yeah, as you guys probably noticed, I'm not running the Artemis Ride Chain. I have tried it, but I don't think it's as consistent as this build. So yeah, run 4 of her. If you call like 2 of these early game, or you ride one, you're gonna put a lot of pressure in your opponent's hand. So I like that. Next, I run 4 Witch of Birds. I think her skill is Counter Blast 1. When this card is Soul Blasted, you can Counter Blast 1 and call this card onto the rearguard circle. So basically, when this card is removed from Soul, you can Counter Blast 1 and call this card from the drop zone. Which, this card is a +1, so it's pretty good. But you gotta, keep in mind of how much Counter Blast you have to work with, because this deck is very Counter Blast heavy. So yeah, I run 4 because she's one of the main grade 2 ride targets. Actually, for grade 2, if you ride her or her, you're good to go. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Next, for the other grade 2, I run 3 Paprika. She's the 11k attacker when you have a limit break unit. So yeah, I run 3 because having 11k attacker is nice. So yeah. Next grade 1, I run 4 of the Counter Blast 2 Soul Charge 3s when you boost and hit. I don't actually usually use her effect a lot, but I like to have the option to Soul Charge in case I don't have enough soul to work with. Usually you do, but the optimal amount of soul that you want is 12, so that you can use Fortuna's effect 4 times, or you can use Iwagana Hime's effect twice. Usually when you go over 12, like 13 to 14 is fine too, but usually if you go over that, you're gonna deck out. So you just gotta be careful how much soul you charge. Next, I run 4 of Witch of Frogs, I think her name is. Same effect as Witch of Birds, except when she's Soul Blasted, you can Counter Blast 1 call from drop zone. She's a 7k booster, so it's pretty nice having a 7k booster. It's actually kind of ridiculous because it's really easy to get rid of soul in this deck, because 5 of your 8 grade 3s do rip soul, so you can pretty much get their effects off pretty easily. Especially with all the new cards that retire cards, you just use their effects and you can kind of replenish your field, which is nice. So yeah. Next, I run 2 of the Soul. I think her name is Kumin. Use her. She soul charges 1, which is useful sometimes because sometimes you're at 11 soul and you need that extra 1 soul, and then you just soul charge. So yeah, because usually you might have attack with mages twice, but then you break ride or something, and then you're missing 1, and then it's just nice to have 1. And she also has nice art, so that's also a plus. And then next we run 4 perfect guards because you don't want to get mirror match and get smashed in the face with OP cards like Fortuna or other stuff. Anyway, 4 perfect guards is pretty self-explanatory. Next, I run 4 8 crit, 4 draws, and 4 heal. Pretty standard lineup. Yeah, basically what you do is if your opponent no guards at 4 damage, which I don't know why they wouldn't, you just keep checking until you hit a trigger. Because you're bound to hit a crit trigger, which it's really easy to hit a crit trigger in this deck. My opponents, yeah, they either two pass or they. Or actually, even if they're at 3 damage and then you check your first check was a critical trigger, you can just risk it and keep on rechecking until you hit another critical trigger, so you get double crit them, and then they'll be really sad, which I have done before. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck. It's a pretty fun deck to play. I really recommend you guys to try this deck out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Yeah, anyway, next video I'll talk about, deck building and whatnot. And yeah, so stay tuned for that, guys. This is Kartaku, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.